Good day, everyone. So, this time I'll be reporting Chapter 10, The Leader as Enabler. So, what is all about Chapter 10, The Leader as Enabler? So, unlike the previous chapter, which focused on the need of vision, this one highlights the importance of leadership that empowers people in a constantly changing society that necessitates cooperation, facilitation, and collaboration. I think these are requisites or factors that could influence the different traits of a leader as an enabler. But before we go to that, let's have the reading time or case analysis. So a mother wished to encourage her small girl's interest in the piano and so took her to a local concert featuring an excellent pianist. In the entrance foyer, the mother met an old friend and the two stopped to talk. The little girl wanted to see inside the hall and so wandered off, unnoticed by her mother. The girl's mother became concerned when she entered the hall and could see no sign of her daughter. Staff were notified, and an announcement was made asking the audience to look out for the little lost girl. With the concert due to start, the little girl had still not been found. In preparation for the pianist's entrance, the curtains drew aside to reveal the little girl sitting at the great piano, focused in concentration, quietly picking out the notes of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The audience's amusement turned to curiosity when the pianist entered the stage, walked up to the little girl and said, "Keep playing." The pianist sat down beside her, listened for a few seconds, and whispered some words of encouragement. He then began quietly to play a bass accompaniment, and then a few bars later reached around the little girl to add more accompaniment. At the end of the impromptu performance, the audience applauded loudly as the pianist took the little girl back to her seat to be reunited with her mother. The experience was inspirational for everyone, not least the small girl. What is the moral lesson of the story? A little encouragement can go along the way. So the enabling leader in the organization approaches the staff with a mindset of coaching them in an encouraging manner rather than stifling their initiative or dominating their performance. So I think the story is very inspirational for us to try new things for the benefit of many. And as long as we know that this is right, and this could not be go wrong in trying, so be it. We must try because try must also lead to development and progress. Okay? So let's start with empowerment. Empowerment means letting people bring their knowledge and experience to work and fostering their motivation to use it on organizational tasks. It also means encouraging them, giving them power, and helping to succeed. So when you empower people, it means you give them a chance. We believe in them. We trust them that they can make it. So employee empowerment has become a clinch in many organizations. The truth of the matter is that many leaders don't want to see or share responsibility with others because they don't want to lose any of their power. One of the most difficult tasks that new supervisors face is giving up control when faced with a critical task. So controlling is also very important, even in leadership. Leaders who are competent enablers learn to think beyond their own interests for the good of the group they are leading. Unfortunately, many leaders still do not see the direct benefits in such behavior. So what is an enabling leader? Enabling leaders know they can achieve organizational excellence on their own. They need people. They learn that when they share leadership in the organization, it improves their own capacity to lead. So you need people also to serve them and to help them. So for me as a leader, your people also is your motivation, because without them, you cannot be a good or enabling leader. Time can be freed up to do more important things such as strategic thinking, envisioning, and creating innovative solutions to ongoing problems. So the sharing of leadership enables the empowering of others by fostering collaboration, promoting cooperative goals, and building trust in their relationships. Leaders encourage their employees to use the word we rather than I. Because if we use we are not selfish enough. So we share it to others. We share the same sentiments, we share the same problems, finding solutions, and we also share achievements as well as development for each and every one of the in the organization. How about empowered staff? An empowered staff is one that is committed to work of the organization. Workers enjoy a sense of competency and feel that they are learning and improving. They are making decisions that most directly affect them. A feeling of community and of personal significance exists, and they find meaning in what they are doing. Clearly, if the leadership of the organization brings out the best in its people, it is bringing out the best in the organization. So, the role of the empowered staff or rank and file or ordinary employees of in the company is very important, because these are the people that are working detailedly in the company. They might not be in the decision making scenario or situation, but they are very essential in making all the goals and objectives of the company met. And so they should be also become an empowered staff. So empowerment on the scale of supervisor and employees. A supervisor in pursuit of empowerment cannot delegate tasks without providing guided leadership. So meaning guided leadership. So when there is a guided leadership, there is a proper monitoring. You delegate them and you check all the time. That's why it is a guided leadership. Employee empowerment and leadership development involves an ongoing effort to balance freedom of activity with appropriate levels of accountability. This balance is not easily achieved. People must be put into a position to be successful and should be provided with the necessary training and resources to obtain positive outcomes. So ongoing learning is an integral part of an empowered and high-performing organization. When employees are enabled properly, supervisors grow into leaders, and employees begin to achieve results that were previously thought to be unattainable. So meaning, you must know what is all the work of your people as a leader. Because how can you become a guided leader if you do not know what they are doing? So you must know. That's why in the saying, to become a great leader, you must also be a great follower. Okay? You must also understand their feeling before going to that position. Sige. Okay? So empowerment, importance of communication in an enabling leadership. So in a transforming organization, leaders in an organization must work to develop people as quickly as possible to their full potential. So this will lead to significant improvements in staff motivation and performance. Sharing information through good communication is a critical component of enabling members of the organization. So as we all know, communication is a two process, receiver and the receiver and the communicator. Ineffective or non-existent communication will result in mistrust, confusion, cynicism, and a decline in morale. This certainly erodes confidence in the leadership. It should be noted, however, that too much communication isn't much of an improvement over too little information. Overload leads to blocking out what is being received. So, as a communicator also, you should send a good message. So as I am saying a while ago, so communication um, really needs a good feedback also within mutually um, mutually saying what could I get from that good communication, the sender and the receiver. So lacking and too much is bad. Okay, so it should be in moderation always to not experience information overload or lack of information. That's why communication is very important for you to understand what is the real score in order for you to deliver outcomes in the organization. So this time, we will distinguish what is the characteristic of a boss leadership versus enable leadership. If you are a boss, a leader's goal is to be served. Interested primarily in the leader's image and advancement, self-preservation and personal image is at the forefront of most decisions. Entitlement of the position is more important than its responsibilities. Co-workers are seen and treated as inferiors and not usually invited to participate in decision-making or offered important information. I think the third one is very important, entitlement. Why? Because in the in Spider-Man's movie. So uh, um, it's more on the responsibility. Great powers comes with great responsibility. Okay? So what is more important is your deliverables, your responsibility. Because title is title. So if you get be in the high position, it also you will get in a high expectations and deliverables. So you have to you have to perform well in order to say that by other people that you really deserve that position. Okay? So if you are a boss, you are more onto authority, self-authority. So you will not usually invite your people to be consulted on what decision you will make. Okay? So that is a boss. But if you are an enable leader, a leader's goal is to help others grow. So not just only your growth, but also others as well. 6, to enable subordinates to advance to their fullest potential by downplaying self and praising others. So the team or organization and all its members are considered and promoted before self. You are not selfish. Responsibilities are more important than the perks of positional entitlement. Co-workers are treated with respect as part of a team who work together to accomplish a task and make decisions with shared information. I think the last also is very important, the decision-making part, because as we all know, your subordinates are the people who are in great communication. Rather rather you as a leader as merely a monitoring one. So they are the direct communicator of the objectives of the organization. Okay? That's why they should be take part on the decision making process also. So as you can see, these are all the characteristic of an enabler leader. So this is open compared to a boss leadership. Open-mindedness and not selfish. Okay? So in enabling leadership, there are also guidelines that we can evaluate also in our part. So to get your organizations thinking about enabling one another, ask these questions at yourself and have staff answer these same questions about you and about themselves. First, do you develop cooperative relationship among people who work with? So, cooperative. So, it will lead to collaboration and could be in teamwork. Do you actively listen to diverse points of view? So listening is very important in the organization because as a leader, not all the time you see them. You see the real score and problem they are facing about. Do you treat others with dignity and respect? So, do you support decisions that people make on their own? So, we are talking here their own decision making as a whole. Do you give people freedom and choice in deciding how to do their work? So, we have standards, but definitely it will change depending on the situation. Do you ensure that people grow in their jobs by learning new skills and developing themselves? Do you develop and progress? If the answer is no to any of this, take the opportunity to have open discussions about possibilities for improvement. Have a dialogue on leadership from above and the development of enabling leadership within the organization's staff. So these are very important guide questions for us to improve and develop well in the organization. So we jump now to coaching. So what is the definition of coaching? When organizational leaders act as coaches, they can foster an environment that encourages and supports this desired state. Coaching is a way of encouraging or supporting others to achieve a goal, to improve performance, to acquire to new competencies and skills, or to gain new responsibilities. So, as we all very familiar, coaching came from a team that would exude teamwork. So, teamwork starts with a coach, with a good guidelines, with a good pathway to win the game. Okay? So, that is also like in the organization. You need to coach them. You need to motivate them in order for them to move confidently. How impactful coaching is? So, in a recent Right Management survey of North American human resource professionals, 81% of respondents indicated that coaching does indeed improve the effectiveness of leaders. Ben Blanchard, a noted expert on leadership coaching, has stated that leaders who utilize coaching skills have more effective teams, higher morale, and better bottom line results than those who don't. So the leader coach generally is much more effective in his or her leadership role in the organization, and especially as the organization works toward improved internal involvement. So very impactful coaching is what it's all about. Because if you coach them, you have a big concern to them. You have a big future or vision for them to be promoted. Because you coach them. You help them lead the way to a new development. Okay? How coaching can be done? Coaching can be facilitated through the strategic planning process, with each individual that is being coached preparing a personal strategic plan that is nested within the strategic plan for the organization. For coaching to be effective, it requires identifying and understanding the capabilities and competencies of each employee and trying to this to their personal and career aspirations or career improvement as well. Leader coaches help employees to establish long-term development goals and help them conceptualize a plan for attaining them. So coaching must be done simultaneously as also leading and motivating them. So it needs to encourage them to do well in the organization. What would be the perks of doing or delivering good for the organization as an individual? Help them to realize that you need development and change for the better. Okay? So, the perspective of coaching leaders. So, coaching leaders are by definition good at delegating. But again, delegation should be monitored and guided leadership. They give employees challenging assignments, even if that means that tasks might not be accomplished quickly. In other words, these leaders are willing to put up with short-term failure if it further long-term learning. So here are the different types of coaching, and I know these are very important. So first is performance coaching, used when individuals need help returning their performance to acceptable standards. This is usually a result from a negative change in attitude rather than a problem with the results. So when you say performance coaching, you are monitoring them on how they perform on their tasks and responsibilities. You are giving good feedbacks for them to improve well. Okay? How about development coaching? Used when high-performing individuals are really to expand their capacity and capabilities in the current role. This is important for building future leadership in the organization. So when you say development coaching, it will lead to a new chapter of your stay in the organization. So you can be promoted, you can be recommended to other department to lead. So that's why you need a development coaching. You have to develop the skills needed for you to become a leader. Third is career coaching, used when individuals are ready to plan their next career moves. This is an important strategy for retaining organizational talent. People become more energized to keep developing when thinking and talking about their future. One of the primary reasons that the performers have an organization is because nobody asked them to stay. So in career coaching, you are um, coaching them in the next step they will take into their career. Are they stopping on this present career? Are they shifting to another career that they have interest and future love on it? So this is very important because career is a lifelong development of an individual. Okay? I remember in the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of need that career is very important to lead in its self transcendence as a mere realization of oneself. Okay? Coaching to support learning occurs when management supports, encourages, and reinforces recent training and fosters turning what has been learned into action. People learn through training, and training is one of the best ways to develop people in your organization. So this topic was covered in more detail in an earlier chapter. Coaching to support learning. And I believe everything that we do, we learn something from it. Whether it is good or bad, we learn something from it. And learning is challenging, especially in the organization, because you are dealing with the different kinds of people, different backgrounds, different environmental influence, and different attitudes. That's why you need to coach them to support learning. Next is creating an internal coaching culture. Happens when leaders recognize the value of coaching and use it to develop others. Not only does coaching emphasize leadership development, but it also fosters a mindset of taking ownership and responsibility for work that is done. A coaching culture is a culture of self-responsibility rather than blaming or pointing to others when problems arise. Taking on the role of self-responsibility generally leads to a more productive and positive work environment. Coaching culture, you need to understand the different characteristic of people, the culture of that organization. So, and I think the password on it or solution on it is you learn to adapt change. You embrace adjustment. You have to adjust because before you go in that particular organization, there is an existing culture that you need to accept and play with it. Okay? That's why also collaboration is also discussed in this lesson. Because collaboration is defined as a mutually beneficial relationship between two or more parties who work toward common goals by sharing responsibility, authority, accountability for achieving results. It is certainly more than getting connected with people, which is communication or having beneficial relationship, cooperation, and coordination. So the purpose of collaboration is to create a shared vision, agree on a common set of goals, and develop common set of strategies that solve an organizational problem or that advance the achievement of the organization. So collaboration is something that you shared. So it could be a collaboration to other departments, a collaboration within your company to other companies within your industry, a collaboration within your company to a learning institution. So it is a partnership also. Okay? So what are the benefits of collaboration? The advantage of involving groups of people is that they bring different experiences, knowledge, and perspective, which is more likely to lead to more creative and better decisions. So I think in collaboration, you share your best practices that is more applicable to your company and you can practice it if that is applicable. That's why experiences is also important because it changes perspective. It adds knowledge. Okay? So the difference of collaborative approach. So leaders are often thought as of those who articulate a vision, inspire people to act, and focus on important problems and results. So the collaborative approach requires a different kind of leadership. It needs leaders who can nurture the process, facilitate interaction, and patiently deal with high levels of frustration. Collaboration is not likely to be sustained without facilitative leaders. So when you say facilitated leaders, so this is monitored. This is done in control. Okay? That's why so that feedback could result in a good outcomes and a recommendation for you to continue. What is your plan? Is all about. Okay? In summary of my of my topic that is assigned to me, an organization employees are enabled by number one, fostering collaboration and mutual trust by promoting shared goals. So in order for you to succeed in the organization, you should not be selfish enough. You share it to others because you need others as well. Second, that is sharing power in information. Power comes with great responsibility, as I said a while ago from the movie Spider-Man. And information should be communicated well. Providing staff with more complete information communicates trust and a sense of we're in this together. By having access to information that helps them understand a big picture, people can better appreciate how their contribution fits in and how their behavior impacts other aspects of the organization. So acceptability, trust, respect, and outcomes are the factors in order for you to have a good impact on the organization. Creating a work climate that encourages employees to own their own job. Not only to own their own job, but to love their own job. And lastly, promoting and the taking of risks to bring up innovation and creativity. So, risk is all about in business. So, business is a high risk, particularly. But you need to maintain your market position or through what? Innovation and creativity. That's why all organization, firms, or industry requires research and development for you to innovate, for you to become creative on your own, so that you will become still in the market leadership. Okay? So much for this. Okay, thank you very much. And I hope you learned something from my report. So, thank you again, and may God bless us all.